What's poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another piping hot episode of Sippin' the Tea, where we
sip the tea and our guests
spill that tea. Oh. You can grab that on iTunes, 99 cents, coming out never.
We have little glitty glit here.
I'm Miss Mama trying to make a run for it today. And today's very, very special guest is more than meets the eye. She is a beauty that has graced the covers of Playboy, FHM. She's bringing a little sunshine into the studio today. Miss Sunshine Shen, my love.
Hello, thank you so much.
Darling, she's a queen.
She's serving looks over here.
Thank you for being with us.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, girls, so we're going to have to just dive right on in.
I won't
Let's do it.
Okay, so tell us what it was like to be a Playmate in Hugh Hefner. So spill the tea, girl.
What an icon.
So, Hef, when I first came around to the mansion, I actually met Hugh Hefner's best friend, and he was the one who kind of opened the door for me as far as Playboy and all that goes. So Hef actually didn't like me very much because he's very into his blondes, as we all know.
Oh, I live for Holly. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. She's fabulous.
She is.
Oh, Kendra's the nicest, by the way. She's just so down to earth.
Girl,
and
we need some
amazing.
tea, girl. They're all nice. Come on. She's about to
But Holly, actually, I think no one liked Holly at the mansion. Just saying. Nobody liked her. Yeah.
Is that because she was numero one?
You know what? I think she was a little bitchy and a little selfish from what I hear. But, you know, that's just me. But, so Hef did not like me very much. His best friend actually brought me over to Hef and suggested that I start doing some pictorials and spreads and all that good stuff. But Hef said, you know what? I'm not really into Asians. Yep, that's exactly what he said. He's very straightforward. Yeah, but it really didn't hurt my feelings because it's just been my dream for the longest. And watching like Girl Next Door growing up, it really like kind of inspired me.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great show. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. So I always wanted to do like the body painting.
Okay.
For all the parties, Midsummers, Halloween, and New Year's. And so Hef agreed to that at least. So I did it for 2 years. And
how old were you when this was like?
I think I was like 22 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. I was 22 when I did my first body paint party. I believe it was for like Halloween. So it was really, really fun. We had a whole like circus themed party. It wasn't as wild as I expected, unfortunately. But we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, you know, with the playmates and, you know, talking to guests and everything. But, you know, I think a lot of the celebrities did not really participate as much in the last like 3 or 4 years before the mansion actually closed down. So that was kind of a disappointment. But you know what? It is what it is, you know.
You got to be a part of history, though.
Yeah, exactly. It was really fun. It was really fun. I got to know Hef a little bit. He kind of warmed up to me after like a year and a half.
Cannot warm up to Sunshine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I played some board games with him. He doesn't like to lose. He likes to bet money. So he'll always bet like $1 or $2, and when you don't give him that $1 immediately, he will follow you anywhere you go and ask for his $1 back. I never seen it in my life, but I never seen a guy like climb a flight of stairs, but if you owe him $1, he will run. So
I ain't mad at that.
I mean, hey, you got to get that chingle.
Exactly.
Even if it's $1 bill. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So it was a fun experience. I think grew a lot. I met a lot of great people. I made some great girlfriends. But after the mansion kind of like closed down and he sold it to, I think, the neighbor's kid, everything just kind of died down. And then he passed away after the last Midsummers. So that was, it was sad. It was sad losing him. So
was there camaraderie between, you know, all the girls in his passing? Because I would imagine like that would have brought you together, or was it a matter of like, you know, I know there was a lot of publicity, girls kind of doing PR and what have you. Was there a gathering and a like united front between you?
You know what? I think he was married to Crystal when I was there. So she kind of got rid of everyone. So we used to do like Sunday fun days. And there's like a list where you're like on a permanent Sunday fun day, and then we have guests that we invite. She came in, and I think it's because, well, what she said was that because he was getting sick, he was older, so they didn't want a whole bunch of people at the house. So they basically went in and uninvited everyone. But also we, like, as Playmates, we were kind of like over the Sunday fun days because it was gotten like really, really boring. We were watching like black and white movies, and it just wasn't as fun as it should be.
Gotcha.
But then Crystal came in and she said, you know what, I don't want any of you bitches in my house.
Oh,
and I
damn.
I was like, you know what, I feel you, girl. That's cool. I can respect it. It's your house. So
and I betcha, did she say it exactly like that?
I think she did, but behind closed doors, right?
I mean, you gotta respect someone that keeps it 1,000%. I mean, I'd rather have someone tell me, bitch, get the fuck out of my house than like,
I mean, I'm not shocked, but I am like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
She was like, fine.
She was very smart. She's definitely a smart one. And after he passed away, I think everyone just kind of got over it. We all moved on to the next phases of our lives.
So was this around the time, because, like following your story, how you got into like spirituality, was that during a time when you were in the house, or was that did that come after the house?
So it actually came after the house. Shortly after I stopped attending all of the mansion events, I became a personal assistant for someone actually I can't name, but he's very, very famous on Instagram. He's like the Instagram king. So I went and I traveled with him for a little while. I got to see like all kinds of like exotic parts of the world and kind of live that Playboy lifestyle, but not what's have. And I feel like even today, I think he's like the up and coming young Hugh Hefner. At least I guess that's what the aim is.
Let me
so
think.
I think I know what it is too.
I signed NDA, so I can't
That's
really
right.
go into it. But
Yeah. But I think I know who you're talking
Minute she
about.
said that, I was like, okay, girl.
Yeah, okay,
It's not hard to guess. It's not hard to guess.
Yeah.
And so that was like really eye-opening for me. I think for the first 6 months, I was like, woo, we were partying a lot. I was having such a great time. I was working, I think I got to work around like Floyd Mayweather, G-Eazy, Chris Brown, and that was like such a great experience. But then after a while, I'm like, there has to be more to life, right? And I know, I know we live in LA, we're surrounded by celebrities and this like great life, but on the inside, I think when you live here, it's like a little different. You see like the truth, right?
1,000%.
Yeah. So I started kind of going into the journey where I wanted to know who I was, not what I was surrounded by. So within and not without. And I actually picked up the book, The Secret, and it kind of put me on the path. But yeah, absolutely. And the first couple of times I read it, I was like, I don't get it. What is it saying? I understand the concept, but I wanted to know more. I'm very curious. So then I started looking at documentaries, other books that followed. I read all kinds of like spiritual awakening books. And it really brought me some like really profound knowledge. But for the first year, I was like struggling to build more wisdom. And then after that, I thought about, okay, how do I apply this to my life?
Yeah.
Because, I'm not a monk. I can't just go off into meditation for like a year.
Yeah.
Totally.
So how do I apply all those concepts, all that knowledge into my modern life that I'm living in, right? Or in the modern world. So, and it's something that I really want to share with other people. So.
I like the train of thought that you have there. And I think brings up the discussion of, I guess, that's very deep what you're discussing. And it's also, you also have an image as well that people know you for, the covers of magazines. How do you balance the duality of kind of being like the Sex Pistol, sexy girl, and all that entails?
Yeah.
And breaking the wall down to allow people to see what you just spoke about.
Sure.
Because I think people will be like, damn, she's beautiful. And then listening to you speak, I was like articulate, sensitive, and in touch with something that a lot of people really aren't.
Yeah, especially in LA.
Right. I think, I think posing nude actually helped me open up physically.
Well, should we take our clothes off?
Yeah,
now?
so-
Okay, let's go.
That's a good idea.
Let's go.
I'm gonna keep this a little close.
Wait, pop. I digress.
Yeah,
Go.
of course. So I think posing nude actually allowed me to become more comfortable with my physical vulnerabilities. And so in a way, I'm doing the same thing, but spiritually and mentally with kind of sharing my spiritual knowledge in a way. So you have to kind of feel comfortable exposing that sort of vulnerability that which I think everybody have. And so it kind of goes back to the physical too, right? So I feel like the physical and the mental needs to kind of match. So just be comfortable with yourself. Yeah.
That's actually a really good analogy because it is like you have to peel back the layers in
Right,
order to
exactly.
like expand the spiritual. Because I mean, I
Exactly.
know exactly because I'm on a spiritual journey, so I get exactly what you're talking about.
You are.
I am.
He is.
I really
Take me
am.
with you, sis.
With like meditation and everything, and it's just as important as it is with the physical. It's very
100%.
similar.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I agree.
So, girls, so you're gonna spill some tea. So I heard you're gonna be writing a book.
Yeah, so we're working on it right now. I still can't decide which route I'm going, whether it's going to be fiction or nonfiction. Right now, we're leaning towards like the more fiction route because I want to make it into a franchise. I want it to be about
big
like a
thinker.
like something like I want to say almost like The Alchemist, but in this modern time. And you see this person kind of going through her journey and the problems that she's being faced with and the people that came along and kind of taught her along the way and her being able to recognize and read the signs that are being given to by the universe to help her along that journey. And you see it from like the beginning to the end. So I think, most likely I'm going to go with that route, but yeah.
I like
Ooh,
that. I like
yeah.
that. And is that kind of based in part then on your own self-discovery and journey?
Maybe.
'Cause I see a little Tomb Raider vibe there. I was like kick-ass woman.
Maybe. Stay tuned.
That's so funny.
You can't spill all the tea now.
Girl,
because
I'm
then-
gonna pull the tea
because
out.
then people are not gonna want to get the book.
I
They're
know,
not gonna want to
girl.
buy it
But
because you didn't give all the tea.
That does lead me into though the book, your journey, your spirituality.
Sure.
Do you see yourself as a role model for younger women?
Yes and no. I don't really see myself that way. I truly believe in like a universal oneness. I believe that.
Universal one.
I believe that
We're setting love.
jazz fingers or jazz hands.
Whatever you like. Yes.
Oh, okay, we got to
I
get
love
back.
it.
Okay, back to
Fine.
So I totally believe in like the oneness, right? I absolutely do not believe in leadership or anybody should be in charge or the idea of kind of like looking up to someone. I believe we can be inspired. I'm here to hopefully inspire people to kind of reach their full potential. I have almost no intentions of leading because that in itself is very anti-spirituality, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's kind of the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of unite the millennials and kind of let them realize their potential and kind of unleash it into something physical in this world. So.
okay.
Never judge a book by its cover because this girl is deep as F. I was like, okay, girl.
And I mean, again, everyone has like their own, I guess, journey or.
Sure.
In a sense, I would still say, that you're a leader because you're creating your way and showing
Right.
that, hey, I may be beautiful, I may be a badass, bish, but at the same time, like I have brains, I have all these other things
Right.
to offer. So it's showing like you can do so many things and not be put in a box. But
Sure.
kind of, I guess, gonna
Right.
segue.
Mhm.
What I guess, especially living in LA, because girl, we know
Yeah,
the
right.
struggle is real.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to people who struggle with the highs and lows of being in Hollywood and
Sure.
kind of being in that spotlight? Like, what advice would you give them?
I think most importantly, you must always be yourself. I know we say it all the time, but that really gets lost here. People get confused by all these external factors, And what happens is, I think we get involved in this mindset of competition. It's you versus the world, you versus everyone who's showing up to this casting call or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. But in reality, I think we need to focus on ourselves, which is, you know, you should be your only competition. You should always be authentic to yourself. And in turn, you become more of a authentic person. You become original because when we're in touch with our higher self, we are original, we're completely different. So now you're no longer competing with anyone else and they can't compete with you. So that's where I would like to see everyone. But
I like that. What would be a tip that you would impart? Because in truth, I really resonate with what you're saying there. But I also feel like sometimes it's like, how would you pre-frame your mind to be like, you know, we should work together rather than against each other? Because I know sometimes we're like, oh my God, that person has this, that person has that. What would be, 100%. To further what you said, an actual physical thing that we could say mentally to be like, no, change the pattern.
Right. It's really not so much there's no fast cure for the breakdown of ego, right? So for us to kind of lose the idea of self-identity, and which means we're no longer comparing ourselves to other people, wanting things that we don't have and other people may have, and vice versa. We have to kind of break down our own ego. That is what the spiritual journey is, and it's very, very difficult.
Yeah,
it's a long journey, and I'm still learning myself. It's a hard journey. It's an enlightenment. You know, you have to basically, I feel like you have to start by not judging yourself. And eventually you don't judge other people. You let things be. You just trust in the universe. You gotta trust that you're here for a purpose, and you have to find what that purpose is, and really kind of like trust your intuition and feel your way to success and not so much think it, right?
The vulnerability there is complete.
No, I just got chills because I mean, I'm on my own spiritual journey, so I know exactly what she's talking about with the ego and the breaking down, and it's a tough journey. And I mean, I'm only in the beginning of mine, but it's so amazing when you meet people like this. Is like, these are like talks like this is what people need to hear so everyone can become woke.
Right.
Because right now a lot of people are sleeping.
Yes, can we get a cheers for woke? Let's cheers woke, because bitch, 1000%. No, mama, you better stay
Thank
woke,
you.
girl. You better sip it for wokeness.
No, for real.
No, I'm not. I actually like, not surprised, but I feel enlightened myself, because it's nice to have a refreshing conversation where you're vulnerable.
Right.
And the vulnerability that it just oozes out of you.
Right.
And it's authentic.
Right.
And it's real. And I think it's hard though. And I like the one thing that resonated in the last thing that you said was that you're still on the journey. Because I feel like, God, that journey is long, honey.
Yeah, it really never stops, right?
Never.
Yeah, I feel like we're always learning new lessons, but I feel like we only progress in this journey when we identify the issues that we're currently dealing with and the problems we have within ourselves, change that in that cycle, and we open up ourselves to a new lesson. So that's how you go through life, by cycles. We need to just like close it, right?
Yeah.
Close the bad stuff.
No, I mean, I'm gonna bring my nerd out, and literally that's what Albert Einstein says. The day you stop learning and growing is the day you start dying.
I like that.
Yes.
I did not know that. I learned something new today.
Yeah, that's from Albert Einstein.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So it's like people can be dead at 25 but not put into the grave until 75 if you're not growing and evolving.
Sure. Absolutely.
Life is like that. So just before we wrap up, because I know that we were talking about the book, I want to talk very quickly about, you know, using that book then to do seminars, to go down that route. Is that a direction that you like in terms of being a speaker?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a one-on-one way to connect with, you know, is that something that you want to take that journey with?
I definitely think so. Right now, we don't have any solid plans, but I would like to go in that direction.
Well, I'm sure you got plans up here, girl. I'm sure you got a whole place, girl.
Somewhere.
Are you kidding me? She's like, I got the next 80.
It's in my hair, you know, somewhere. I just got to look for it.
Yes, hair. I knew there were secrets in there. She was like, don't touch. There's something in there. Oh, well, you just woke her up. She's like, hey, girl.
Sorry.
No, she woke her up for real. Like,
She's woke.
Aw.
so, where, for if you do seminars, when the book does come out, can you like tell everybody here where they can follow you at and just plug your social and the whole nine, girl?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's Captain S Sunny, SUNNY, 2 S's.
And is that just on Instagram? Do you have Twitter? Yeah.
You know what? I need to actually focus on building my platform. I've been so lazy with that. I feel like we're so caught up with Instagrams now.
Oh, girl.
I don't know what you're talking about. Follow me.
You're like, on that note.
I was like, hi.
This crazy one. You can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew.
You can follow me at Matt Dillon 1983. What about Glitty?
Oh, and you can follow this little nugget at Glitty Glit.
And Miss Mama. Southern looks, honey. It's Mama 2011.
Okay, guys. Until next time on Sippin' the Tea on EverTalk TV. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday.
Bye. Mwah. Thank you, boo.
Cheers,
it out.
Cheers.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.